Welcome to the Ladies Kickin' Ass podcast, where we raise our voices and honor the badass achievements of women in the service industry. Get ready for empowering conversations, inspiring stories, and a whole lot of ass-kicking energy. Join us as we redefine what it means to be bold, fearless, and unapologetically YOU, babe. This is your platform, your community, and your source of inspiration. So buckle up, get ready to rock and roll, and let's show this world just how much we can accomplish. Welcome to the Ladies Kickin' Ass podcast. Welcome back, ladies, to another episode of Ladies Kickin' Ass. I am so excited to be able to have this conversation today with my amazing guest, Samantha Nivens, and I'm so excited she could be here with us. She has over 15 years of experience in the health and fitness industry, and she is an ultra-marathon runner, which we're going to get into because I'm fascinated how a brain wraps around going 100 miles. I think, in my brain, I'm thinking, that's 2 hours of driving. She's like, could do it in a few hours. And you're like, what? This is so incredible. I can't even imagine the mindset that goes into that. Just as we were talking about before we even hit record here, we were talking about how incredibly important it is to have the right mindset to be able to achieve any of these big, crazy goals that we think about. My big, crazy goal would be thinking about running 100 miles. Somebody else may be thinking, I want to launch a business and I'm not quite sure how to do that. And that's their big, crazy goal. So I think it's incredible to be able to bring these worlds together and have this incredible conversation. Samantha is a mama. She's got littles at home too, and she's really crushing it being able to help other females work through their health and fitness journeys online. And I think that's so incredible. So I can't wait to talk to you about that. So Samantha, welcome to the podcast. Why don't you go ahead and tell listeners why you're inspired to help women through health and fitness coaching and how you found yourself here?
Amazing. Thank you so much, Tanya. So excited to be here and to be with your audience. I was like, a couple questions there. So tell them about myself and how I got into health and fitness.
How you got into health and fitness and what you're doing with women online now.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So, I guess I've been into health and fitness since I was a young girl, to be honest. I mean, my first 5K when I was 8, although I'm pretty sure my mom dragged me to that one, but then it was love from there. And then in college, I started to go for health and fitness the first couple years, but then honestly, I kind of dabbled around in my 20s, exploring and playing, well, what did I want to do, when I grew up, kind of a thing. And it really wasn't until my late 20s when I had drifted away from the health and fitness a little bit more, and honestly was in the more party stage, drinking, smoking even. That's a surprise for everybody. I'm like, I actually smoked for almost 10 years. And then it was when I found ultra marathons in my late 20s that I started going for my master's for exercise science and health and fitness. I knew health always just kept coming back to me as there's something here. So I went back to get my master's in it. And that's also when I found the book Born to Run, which is the gateway into the gateway drug into ultra marathons. You could talk to so many ultra runners and they're like, yep, that's what got me started. So I read that book by Christopher McDougall. And it just was the first time I ever heard about these running 50 miles, 100 miles. I'd never heard of that before. I'd run a couple marathons, I'd done the 5Ks and some things like that. And so I was just enamored myself. And so I ate that book up, decided to sign up for my first ultra, which was the Keys 50 miler. I was living in South Florida at the time. And so signed up, trained, did the race. I also quit smoking during that time and honestly was hooked on ultras from that point on. I was I was really fascinated and always have been fascinated, what's possible for our human bodies. And I think that's always been a drive too with the whole health and fitness thing. It's what are we capable of doing? And honestly, I even think of you see alcoholics and somehow their body manages to stay alive with all of that in them. And then you have the other side of people like me who run these crazy races. How is that possible? So it's just always been pretty fascinating to me. So yeah, so now 10 years later, I've been doing ultra marathons. I've done anywhere from 30, 40, 50, 100 miles. And I really love them and the experience that it gives me because I also always like to push and like see what's possible. And
Yeah.
and because I do that in ultras, it helps to see what's possible in business and life in general. So I get a lot of lasting experience from that. And then really from my master's degree, I started coaching at Noom, which is a healthy weight loss company. And
Mhm.
honestly, back in the day, there wasn't as much coaching as exists now. I
Yeah.
feel like coaching has really come about in the last 5 years. And so when I found Noom, I was like, oh, I like this. I love coaching. Like this is, I wish I knew
Hmm.
about 10 years ago or like when I first started college. And so I started to love coaching. But if anybody's ever used Noom or you've seen it, even it's an app.
Hmm.
So it's like really minimal, like it's basically texting back and forth. You need to be so highly motivated yourself to like for that program to work. And also not a fan of counting calories. I know people might be like, I don't count macros, I don't count calories. And so that just never worked for me personally. And I saw not a lot of people have success with it. And then I just started to realize like I had my first baby during that time, or while I was finishing my master's and started Noom, and I lost the baby weight like that. People started like kind of coming around and asking me like healthy choices, like recognizing me as this like leader and figure. And it is a lot of it came natural to me, like certain things that I was doing. And so I started to put that together and to start my own coaching business because I started to see the patterns and things that worked for me that weren't like all the other, like, no offense to anybody if it's like diet stuff has worked for you, but like the
Sure.
keto, the low carb, the freaking counting calories, the like exercise your ass off 60 minutes, 5 times a week, like to maybe like 1200, all of that is like garbage to me. I have a totally different way of looking at people getting results and losing weight and like feeling amazing. So that's when I started my business and really like, I love helping women feel their best. And like, I just really, it like hurts my soul when like weight holds us back from doing the big things we want to do in life. I mean,
Sure.
at times growing up, even when I was always trying to lose like 5 pounds to be that skinnier, thinner, whatever, blah, 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 or a culture society. And so, and when I've talked to other women and coached other women, and it's like, we don't feel our most confident selves when we're not at that best weight where we can feel good. And I don't care what weight that is, by the way. Like some women
Sure.
that might be 300 pounds, 200 pounds, 100, I don't care what the number is. It's just about feeling good in your body and being your most confident self. And I really believe in that, like when we have this foundation of healthy habits, that we can go after those big ass dreams and goals that we really want
Mhm.
and stop
Yeah.
putting like lose the weight every New Year's on our resolutions. I want to like help women eliminate that and like just like go after the other big dreams and goals. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of my journey of how I got to where I am and just really like why I want to help women so much in doing this. And like I'm a busy mama and woman too, like
Yeah.
I don't like I work, I have my business, I have my boys, ultra marathon training is like a part-time job at times. So like I get the busy life. I totally get that feeling and
Hmm.
know it's so possible for anyone. I don't care what the circumstances are to have healthy habits, to lose whatever weight and to feel their best so they can literally live their best life. That was
I
a
love
mouthful.
that. No, it was so good. It was so good. In case you're not watching this on video, I'm just bobbing my head over here the whole way through it. Because as someone that has struggled with her weight, I have my entire life. I will lose it, I gain it back. I lose it, I gain it back. It's um one of those things that I tell myself. I'm like, I feel great. I'm good. I'm this. Like I'm a very confident person. I but I know that I'm more confident when I'm at a healthier place. And that means like your body doesn't do well when it's got a lot of excess weight on it. I think that's something, and I'd love to hear your opinion on this. I think in the culture that we all live in today, and me speaking from a girl that definitely needs to lose some, I'm working on it too. I'm on the journey with everyone else, that you're like, it's just baby weight, but my baby just turned 10 yesterday, so I can't use this as an excuse anymore. But I think there's this culture out there that's like, love yourself no matter how you are. You should love yourself no matter how you are. But there is a big difference between loving yourself and being healthy. They're totally different things. So when I don't know if people say things like that to you, like, I'm happy and I love myself at this weight, or if people say things like that to you, how do you handle that conversation if people say stuff like that to you? Or maybe what's your opinion about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And because I do have like thoughts when I see people like share that. And so I think first and foremost, 110% you're right. Like the only way we will ever even reach a goal, if we want one, is if we love where we're at right now. And so first and foremost, that has to be the place that we decide to either accept our bodies and to love it, or if we want to change, we need to start right here where we're at right now, because this is the body we have. This is, or the life, whatever the life thing is. And so first and foremost, I do agree 100% we need to love where we're at. And I'll just say something on that too. I'm not saying that anybody, like, I think some of the stuff online and we see on that is like I'm beautiful where I'm at, but inside you don't actually think that. You're just like saying that self to try and get there. And loving yourself right now, if you're in that space, it may be what we call like more of a bridging, a ladder thought of like, I'm not saying you have to be like, I love everything about my body when you know you want to lose weight. You might just be like, I love the way I love my face. I love my arms. I love my whatever you do love. Start there. I'm not saying you have to. And actually, in fact, I would offer not to go to the far end of like, I love everything about myself. No, if that's fucking bullshit to your mind, you will never believe that. Yeah. So find something you do love, and you can start small. And then, but I think there's a space we need to start and love where we're at right now. And then to not be fake about it. If you honestly, heart to head, you love your body at whatever weight you're at right now, amen. Live in that. But if you're faking that, and there's like actually like when it's Friday night and you have had a really long day and you're stressed out and you're like, fuck that. But I'm going to have a potty mouth here. And you're like, actually, I hate my body. It's horrible. Like, and that's how you actually feel. Like when shit hits the fan and like those are the real thoughts, then amen. It's great to have a goal and to take like honor. Yeah, this is where I'm at. And you know what? This is where I want to be. This is where I feel best and where I would love to aim for. I do this not in my weight then right now, but I do this in my ultras. It's like when I train for a race, I'm not training 24/7 all year long. I pick like 1 or 2 races a year and I've built up from there. So I've had to build up to run a 100-mile race from 30 and 40-mile races. And I had to like build those thoughts of like, I'm here right now and this is good running these races. And now I want to challenge myself and I want to push myself and I want to get here. It's the same process, just a different goal. So I think it's great to be real with yourself and like love us and like set the damn goal. If that's where you want to be, go for it.
Yes. There's so much mindset that goes into doing these things. And I would love to hear your opinion on how you feel about this. There's so many like fad diets and all this bullshit that they market to a lot of women that's like, you just drink this shit twice a day and you're going to lose. Like, I love the ones that you see on Facebook that's like, would you be willing to eat 7 gummies a day and lose 30 pounds in a month? And you're like, who? Like, I get on to read the comments to just be like, I just want to save them all and be like, let's think about this logically. Like, are you eating like some like crack? Like, what is this making you skinny in 30 days? Like, I don't understand this. But there's so much of this propaganda that is out there, like, do this, be vegan, don't be vegan, do this, that I think a lot of women just become like overwhelmed with the nutritional part, almost to their own detriment, that they're like fucking starving themselves or, you know, depleting any kind of nutritional value out of anything because all they want to know is that everything has 0 calories in it, or you're like, you know, the negative eating celery trick or something like that. Like, what kind of advice would you give to women as far as like, okay, I want to start working on being more conscious about what I'm eating so that I can try to achieve a weight loss goal? What are some of the first things that they need to think about, or a first step to take to start doing that in a positive way?
Yes. Let's talk about that. I love that. So I think first and foremost, I'll start with a couple different mindset things and thoughts of like, even, all right, you want to set this goal, you want to lose some weight, feel better, all the things that come along with that, obviously. First and foremost, I want to offer whatever diet shit you've heard of, you've done, you've cycled on and off of for your whole life. It's many women, many years on and off. And especially when the weight has come back or it's not been successful, I want you to like think about it like a whiteboard. Like there's a dry erase board rather, and it's all your experiences about dieting and weight loss and how you feel about your body and all of it, all the thoughts. And in fact, you could even write these out in your journal on a page. And then I want you to erase that, all of that, that if there's anything that serves you, you can keep it. So if it was like, well, when I lost weight before and I drank this much water, that really helped me, keep that one. But all the rest of that bullshit, I want you to like imagine you're like wiping that slate clean, where you got a trash bag and take all those thoughts and we're going to throw them away. You're going to start fresh without all the drama, without all the should I do this? I should do that. Well, so-and-so did this. Well, somebody else told me to do that. Nope. We're just going to start fresh and clean. And then the second thing I'm going to say in the mindset piece there is so many of us, and I get it because like I want it maybe as an athlete, I want it in business. We want the results now. Like we want to lose weight in 30 days, in 3 months, in 90 days. And I love a good challenge. Don't get me wrong. I love a good challenge. But if those things have never worked for you, which I would think is most of us, like that all or nothing mentality, like, then I want you to instead take a step back from trying to lose weight in 30 days, 3 months, even 6 months, and instead think of the long game. I want you to write a weight loss goal for a year, for 3 years. Like, what is that goal that a year from now you want to achieve? So there's no like, you have to go through Christmas, your birthday, your anniversary, summer, all the things. What's that year weight loss goal? So maybe instead of 20 pounds in 3 months, you're like 20 pounds in a year. That's my goal. So think of the long game. And the second part to that one is just like off the bat, when you're thinking about eating and losing weight and like being healthier, you want to find a way of eating that you can do for the rest of your life. The principles and things that I teach really specifically, and I'll share some of the things here, but like the formula that I have is something you can do for the rest of your life, whether you're on vacation, whether you are on a weekend girls trip, whether you travel a lot for work and you have 9 to 9 days, whatever it is, you need to find a way of eating you can do for life. So just when you think about all the trends and shit, if you're like, could I drink celery juice for the rest of my life? Could I eat 7 gummies a day for the rest? No, nope, you can't do that. So that's out. So whatever you're going to try and do, if you're making your own plan, like what can you see doing for life? Okay, I'm gonna like keep going from this one, Tanya. Like,
Yes. Talk to us. Give us some of your wisdom here.
okay. So first and foremost, my first like really tangible tip and tool, and what I start all my clients with, is movement. Now, this is going to be a lot different than what you hear out there. Everybody wants to start with the diet and everybody wants to start with the nutrition part. And we hear nutrition is 80% a part of our results. And you know what? You're right. You know what? Nutrition does change our bodies and make us feel better, all of those things. But do you know what will make you having healthier eating choices naturally? Moving your body. If you move your body, think about it. When any one of us has ever, you go for a walk, you've done a workout, what do you want to eat after that? You naturally want to eat healthier food. You want to eat the salad with the protein. You're like, F the McDonald's burger and fries. I don't care how hungry I am. Your mind seeks out naturally the healthy choices without the drama. Versus if we don't work out, we're just telling ourselves, I have to eat this or I should eat this. And we have this really restrictive eating plan. We don't have a way to get our hormones regulated and to feel good and to get our minds right. Then that's when we just go off the chains or we're like, F that noise. Give me the pizza and the fries right here. So start with moving your body. And I like to offer 4 days a week. And I don't care. I offer 4 days a week, 30 minutes. And I don't care if that's walking for 30 minutes, those 4 days. You can start there. If you're like off the couch or it's been a while or whatever, like 4 days a week of I would really encourage whatever you love. If that's walking, if that's swimming, if that's dancing, find some kind of movement you love. Don't care. I don't care if it's intense, if you sweat. I don't care what those people say. I know strength training is amazing. I believe in it. But listen, if you don't like it, you're intimidated to go in the gym and it doesn't bring you joy, you're never going to do it. So find movement you love. That's right. So find movement you love. Do it 4 times a week for 30 minutes. So that's like a great place to start with. Then the more you do that and you do that consistently for 3 weeks, this is what happens to all my clients is they're like, I'm actually like, I think I'm going to add in another day. I'm like, oh, okay. You do? You want to add in another day of workouts? Because it feels so good.
Yeah, it does.
So
it makes you happy.
It does.
It definitely makes you happy.
Our hormones. I love to share this with my clients. Like especially if we're looking at like a stress tool, like what do we do to handle stress or just in general? And I'm like, walking physiologically, our amazing human bodies, there is no way you do not feel better after walking or any movement for that matter. Literally increases our feel good hormones and literally decreases cortisol stress. So you will feel, now I always say, you might not walk away like a unicorn and like, oh my God, my life is amazing. But you will walk away feeling a little bit better. And that is so gold versus digging yourself deeper, right? So movement is, I feel that is like something that is so different that I teach. And then I know from experience with my ultra training, like start moving your body. And then I will give another 2 more, maybe tangible things.
Okay. Go for it.
So the next one. Okay. Second one. Okay. I eat this for breakfast, all this stuff. So second one is water. Like, again, I'm not even going to touch anything about eating right now. First one you want to do is move your body. Second one is water. Water, y'all, is like, you want a magic pill to take, like those gummy bears? Drink your water. I am telling you, client after client of mine and my own success is because I'm hydrated. And the reason water is most of the time when we have like cravings, we get snacky, it's because we're actually dehydrated. And so if you're hydrated, you won't get a snack. It actually regulates our hunger hormones and hormones in general. So our hormones aren't out of whack being like, I'm hungry all the time. It's actually like drinking our water and moving our bodies will regulate your hormones. So you're actually like, no, I'm not hungry. I already ate breakfast. It's 2 hours later. There's a donut in front of me. I'm not hungry. What are we doing here? Moving on. Okay.
Yeah.
And then also, so helps, and then it also just helps with those cravings of specifically like carbs and sugary stuff. So if you're really like getting that carby, sugary, snacky feeling at like 2, 3 in the afternoon, like I've done this too, that
Yes. Oh, yeah.
drink your water, have some. It helps us with our sleeping. It helps so much, but I think just that alone, I'll drop that. And really where you want to start with water is at least half your body weight in ounces is a good starting point. And if that feels like too much, I don't want anyone to be like, well, that's 150 ounces and there's no way I'm going to drink that. I drink like 2 cups right now. Okay. Then if you're at like 0 or just getting started, yes, work your way up, start at like 60 ounces or whatever feels like just that much more realistic. But I think a good sweet spot that I found for a lot of clients, like once you're working your way up, or if you can get there, is 100 ounces a day. And especially if you're trying to lose weight, like more water, it's like magic. It is like magic, y'all. It will make you feel better, have more energy, regulate those hormones. So those would be my 2 first tips, like, and get consistent with those. Don't even worry about your diet right now. Just start playing around with those 2 things and see what changes you naturally make in your diet when you do those 2. And then the third thing, the last one I'll say,
so good,
is the last thing I will say about eating is this one thing I think would just help most of us is eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full. So if we all truly, and when I say that, so when I say eat when you're hungry, I'm talking like physical sensations of true hunger, like rumbling in. I like to call that like a 4, maybe a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. Whereas like, 2, 0, 2, you're kind of like, I'm not even thinking about food yet. If you get to the 6 or 7, you're like, I'm hungry. And like 7 to 10 is like you're hangry, right? We don't necessarily, we don't want to get there. We'll get in that hungry zone, that 4 to 5, and you should physically feel it. And then when you're full, same thing. You just want to eat till you're about a 4 or 5 on that scale of 1 to 10, where 4 is really like you're satisfied, 4 to 5 is full. And so if you're like at a 2 or a 3, you're kind of like, you still have that lingering feeling like, I need some more fuel, some food. And then like that 6 to 7 is like, okay, that's like when you eat at a good restaurant and you want to keep eating, but you're full, like you're there. And then the 7 to 10 is like, give me the stretchy pants. Like I've totally overdone it. Watch out. I'm like going to pass out. Thanksgiving. So eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full. And I think if most of us checked in with ourselves for this, and listen, I even have used this tool to check in with myself, because when I'm training versus not training, my fueling can look different, how much I'm eating. And because I've been training for 6 months, I can start to have those pre-workout snacks or post-workout snacks and things that I don't necessarily need if I'm not training, but just because I'm used to having a snack every day at 4 p.m. So those are the things to watch out for there, is like, are you eating because, check in with yourself. Are you actually hungry, or are you tired at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Are you actually hungry, or are you tired at 3 o'clock? Are you actually hungry, or are you sad or stressed out? Are you hungry, or are you pissed off? Like really check in, or is it because of the habit? Because you're just used to eating breakfast at 8 a.m. So and everybody tells you should eat breakfast. So I should eat breakfast. Are you eating because you're hungry, or are you eating because of a rule or a habit or an emotion? And I think if most of us checked in with that itself would take out those little bites of eating or overeating throughout our day And I don't care if you're still eating burgers and fries. If you stopped eating when you were full, you could still lose weight.
Yeah. For those are such good tips because like for me, if I get up in the morning and I go to the gym, like first thing, one, I'm drinking a bunch of water because I'm going to the gym. So that's a good way to start off anyways. And you start that movement early in the morning. One, you start out like not in this stressful state. Like I'm not waking up, checking my phone, going through all my bullshit and emails and responding to social media and crap. Like get up, go to the gym, get something or go for a walk, do something to get that movement in. Throughout the day, I'm like, even if like working out is not your favorite, like I grew up like playing a lot of sports. So for me, it was always super easy to stay in shape because I love the competitiveness of being in the sport. Like I did it more for that than the actual physical activity. But like going to the gym for me is like such an intimidating thing because I'm kind of like, there's so many people in there that are like, doing all the things. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing in here. So even if you get up, you go for a walk, you go do all this stuff. When it comes like 3 o'clock and you're like, I'm looking for chocolate or I'm looking for a burger or I'm looking for something, you're going to want to make a better decision because in my head, I'm thinking that fucking sucks running all it's going to take to work this thing off. Like, I'm going to make a better food choice because I want to feel better tomorrow when I go to the gym because I think you are very much a product of what you eat in the last 48 hours too, or drink. It makes a big difference if you're somebody that reaches the emotion stuff. For me, like wine was my like pill for stress at the end of the day. Like as long as I could make it through the day until I could have a glass of wine when I got home or three, and then you would be like, oh, I feel so much better. But then 2 days later, you feel like shit again. So it's really like watching those things of what you're eating too that makes that happen. But that movement is so incredibly important to do. And I love how you make that so simple. Because I think with weight loss and fitness and just health in general, people try to make it so damn complicated that I know for me, I'm just like, fuck it, I don't care anymore. Like, my husband has lost 60 pounds this year. And I look at him and I'm like, oh, I want to do that. But he's like making all of his potions and doing all of this stuff. And I'm like, that's fantastic for you. But I know in my head, I'm not going to do that. I'm not.
Yeah.
I need a simple way of doing this. And something that you're talking about here, I'm like, I can do that.
Yes.
I can do that.
Amen, Tanya. That is what I'm talking about. That is like what I feel like is my mantra in the health and fitness world, and what I teach and do is like simple and doable. I'm not trying to get all crazy and meal prep on Sunday for hours and plan our meals all week and count the calories and work out 5 days a week, strength training and cardio and all the things. Like, F that noise, simple and fucking doable. Like, it really is a lot more simple than all that noise has to be. And that right there is even like just doing stuff you love 4 days a week, like, and whatever. And like, I just feel like too, when hearing you say that, it's like, take away all that noise, all the rules you hear. There's a research paper. Let me tell you, there's a research paper out there for everything. There's something that'll prove to you low carb and keto is the way. There's another one that'll prove to you vegan's the way. There's another one that'll prove to you, I don't even know, whatever's the way, right? There is a paper for it all. And this would be, I think, to that, the other thing that I always tell my clients and say is like, even my guidelines that I give, I've got these guidelines, or you'll find your plan of what works for you, of like, make a plan. You always need to filter whatever noise you hear out there through your lens. Like, you need to find what works for you. Like, I don't like swimming. I am not a water girl. You will only catch me in a pool if it's with my boys because they want to go swimming. Otherwise, I only will dip in to cool down after my run. So like, that is what I think about. So if somebody told me I had to go swimming 4 days a week to like lose weight, I'd be like, not happening. Right? So we need to find things that work for us. Always put it through your lens. And I'm not saying we can't challenge ourselves. Like, if somebody, like, strength training is really great for us women, for all of us as we get older. I'm a big fan of it. But maybe that's what you build up to a year from now or 2 years from now. Once you know what actually does work for you and feels good, and you have something consistent in your life, okay, well, then we can play around and see if we want to add something or change it up.
Sure. Yeah. Because I think a lot of like you hear a lot about that too. Like strength training is so much better than cardio is, and you'll lift weights and your body keeps burning all the shit all day and on and on. Then I go to the gym, like especially if I go work out with my husband, I can't fucking move the next day. And then I'm like, I'm not going back for a week because like I'm walking and I feel like I'm gonna die, and I don't like that. Like, let's just go and do something that is at your level. Do something that you're comfortable with. You don't like the free weights in the gym because you don't know what the hell you're doing. Get on the machines. There's a diagram. It'll show you how to do it. Most of the people in there don't know what they're doing either. They're just more confident in the way they're doing it. So walk in, do what is best for you and don't let the pressures of everything else around you judge or cloud what it is that makes you feel good. Just I love too. I had a little streak going with my son because he's 10 and he wants to work out. He wants to do things, but he can't go into the gym with me to do that. So we started just working out in the park, and we'd run up and down the hills in the park, and we'd take our resistance bands to the park, and we'd listen to whatever music he wanted to listen to. And it's like, I'm getting, this might not be the traditional sense of what people think going to the gym to working out looks like, but I get to spend time with my kids. I'm teaching him that it's important to do these things too. And he's having fun and we're both having fun with each other. It doesn't have to be something that you dread every day. And I think that that's the difference of like being on a healthy journey and struggling with a healthy journey is the mindset around that. It's almost like some of us think it has to be like serious abuse to go to the gym or like things you don't want to do. But it can be a really positive thing, like incorporating your kids in it or making it something fun. Because I know mindset is a huge part of that. I know mindset is a huge part of what you do as an ultra marathon runner. I mean, I know you train your body for those things, but how do you train your mind to do an event like 100-mile race?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I almost That's interesting. I think the two go kind of hand in hand, honestly. The physical part of the
Yeah.
training that pushes the mindset piece. Um, I guess I will say with the mindset piece, like I'm always feeding my brain every single day. I call it brain fuel, like
Mm-hmm.
podcasts. I literally listen to a podcast every day. Um, you can search like YouTube. I'll search like motivational videos.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading books. So like when I'm in training a lot of the times, or especially when I first started, I was reading all the ultra books, Born to Run, Relentless Forward Progress, like anything I could get my hands on that was about the sport and about training and about the mental part of it, like hearing other people, what they went through and how to get through it. So I think I'm constantly feeding myself this brain fuel that keeps me thinking positive. I don't want to say positive thoughts. I feel like there's a lot of like talk around this. Like, I'm not saying you have to be positive all the time, but thoughts that serve you. So
Yeah.
our brains are always offering up the sucky thoughts and that. So I'm always keeping my brain tuned in to the station of like, these are the thoughts that are going to serve me. And I do that with audiobooks, podcasts, motivational videos. So I always am
Mm-hmm.
plugged into that. So I think that always just helps me. And then honestly, I think one of the biggest pieces, just kind of speaking this out loud, is having that goal. And having that big goal. Like anytime when most of the time when I've had that ultra goal and that race in mind, that instantly like clicks something for me. So then, like for instance, this year, I didn't do a big race last year, and I've done one almost every year. I took off to work my business more. So come spring, I was like ready. I felt it. I was like, I am ready to do a race this fall. What's it going to be? What do I want to do? And when I set that 100-mile goal, and I always have a foundation, and then I basically give myself 6 months of training to ramp up for that. And just knowing, having that big goal in mind, then every single day and week, as I'm working to reach towards that goal, listen, there half the days I feel like running and I'm like, yeah, let's go. And then the other half, I'm like, I'm tired too, right? Like I have those same
Yeah.
thoughts, y'all. I have those same thoughts. I wake up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. I have long days with the boys. Like I have those same thoughts half the time. Like, hear me when I say that. I am not a unicorn. But because I have that big goal, then that allows me to have the motivation. It's not like high energy motivation. It's just a motivation of my mindset to be able to be like, all right, well, we're going to just go do this, like this workout. And I have different tools for like getting to the workout too. But just knowing I have that goal really helps my mindset shift to like, this doesn't really matter. Who cares? Like all of those thoughts. And instead it's like, you want to do well. Like you have a goal at this race and I want to do really well and I want to feel good. I'm going to go do this workout.
Yes. Oh, I just, it's amazing to me that I don't even know how to put this into words. How do you get, I'm like, it's amazing to me that you even think about running 100 miles, like wrapping your brain around that. But it's no different than what what we're already talking about right now in saying you have to have a foundation. You didn't start running 100 miles. You started running a 5K, which is like 3.2 miles, right? Like something like
Mm-hmm.
that. So
Mm-hmm.
you start somewhere else. And I think the biggest thing, I just like got totally brainless there for a second, thinking 100 miles. Oh my God. But it's so amazing that people focus, especially in the social media world that we live in today, of like 100 miles. Yes, I have to run 100 miles. And if they're not trained up in, 3 weeks to run that 100 miles, they just quit.
Yeah.
And they're seeing this highlight reel of someone else, that's been very similar, of like an overnight success that took 20 years to get there. They're failing to see how much work goes in to getting to that 100-mile race. And it really does start with that 5K. It starts with walking a 5K before you can run the 100-mile race. And I think that is an incredible thing that we can just adapt and model other things in our lives around that. Like, you want to have the 7-figure business. And if you listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of business things, like, it's always fascinating to me, like how many people start off with like, I have to my first 7 figures of da da da. And I'm like, great, fantastic. But how did you get there? I think there's so many things in the world out there. And I just want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us about those 3 tips, because there's so much in the world out there that's like, this is just how you get there. You're like, great, but what's step 1?
Yeah.
What is step 1? So I want to thank you so much for just taking the time to give us the movement, the water, and really the attitude about you can get and do really crazy things like running a 100-mile race if you're willing to start somewhere. And that is something that I think so many people get polarized with, and like they just get stuck. Like, what am I supposed to do? So if you were giving somebody advice on how to just get started, like what's the first thing? I know that you said movement was stuff, but mindset wise, what do you think is the most important thing for them to focus on mindset wise if they're going to start a weight loss journey?
Yeah, that's a great question. I really think, and I'm going to even relate this like, this is weight loss. And I've learned this in business now too, being in business for 3 years and having my own ups and downs. That's very similar to somebody's weight loss journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a couple things. I'm just going to like blurt out, but like, yes, even like, well, one, I think like there are certain ways to make it a lot more simple and doable, first and foremost. So if you try and DIY
Yes.
it all day long and you're like not getting results, like you got to try something different and new. And you've got to give it time. Like take a breath. Just like what you're saying, there is no overnight success in weight loss. And if anybody's tried that, a lot of times you've seen that not actually work out in the end. You lose the weight and then you gain it back. So just like
Mm-hmm.
there is no overnight success. Take a breath. and look at the long game of like, what, like, where do I want to be 3 years from now? What, like, think of that version of yourself, that woman. I have a concept even that I call be her now. Like the woman
Mm-hmm.
you see yourself as when she is in shape, when she's healthy, when she's energized, really like visualize like her life. Take yourself 3 years from now. What is she doing? What does her life look like when she gets up in the morning? What's the first thing she does? When she goes about her day, when she's tired, when she's stressed out, when she's overwhelmed, what does she do to take care of
Yeah.
herself? Go through your day to day and your life as a whole to start to see like that long-term like lifestyle of healthy habits. So we can
Mm-hmm.
just take a breath then and then be her now. So once you have that vision of yourself, of who you see yourself as, I see myself as a top placing female ultra athlete, and I have been. And when I want to be better, that's who I need to tap into. Not necessarily like, how do
Yeah.
I do this? What workouts? The woman that is that athlete, she would know. She would have ideas of what to do. So the woman who wants to lose that weight, what would she do? What do you do now? So I would really even start there with like that exercise of like tapping into your future self and starting to act as her now. Oh, there was one other thought I wanted to share from that. And that is that there's going to be ups and downs. The more from this moment that you set that goal moving forward, that you realize that it ain't all going to be pretty. Like that you are
Mm-hmm.
have ups and downs. This is life. I say it's 50-50. We're going to have 50% of those good days. We're going to have 50% of those days that you feel like shit. Or guess what? Your kids are sick, or you're sick, or this happens in your business and you have to work all day. It is going to happen. There's like, this
Yes.
is life. And the more I think we can accept that from the start, instead of thinking we're just going to go from here to here and it's going to be just this linear straight up, like just know that you're probably going to fail each week. You might fail every day. You might eat a cookie every day in your weight loss journey. And guess what? That doesn't mean shit about your results.
Yep.
Keep going. Even when you
Yeah.
fall, learn from that lesson. Recognize, okay, you know what? I was tired as all heck. And I did not have anything, a healthy lick of food in this house. That's why I ate like crap. No big deal. Like, it's not a big deal. Just learn the
Yeah.
lesson and keep going. And I think if we would all just embrace that more, and especially in that weight loss journey, I see way too many women, and it takes some time for even my clients with a coach to knock that shit off and like to start to
Yeah.
shift from like, I suck, I'm not good enough, I'll never be able to do this, it's not working. I call those the shit show thoughts. All that in a bag
Mm-hmm.
and a pint of ice cream. like the more you can start to, it's okay, it's going to happen, but just throw that shit away. All right, fine. I hear you, brain. Like moving on, stick to the plan. And can I just share one more thing, Tanya? I know I'm
Yeah.
totally,
Absolutely.
this is one thing that I teach my clients and that I share. And it is, I'm going to put it in two different ways. It's being a B student. I think especially a lot of us women, you're women here, driven, right? Like type A,
Mm-hmm.
like A baby, even we're like, we do all the things and we're like badasses at it. And it's just even in our culture and society, like we want to be A students. We want to like do everything perfect. And if it's not done right in the diet or the way we're eating or the workouts, then F it. We don't do it at all. And really just embracing being a B student, or AKA meaning that like 80% is winning. So like
Yeah.
if you embrace that concept for that in you know what, you're going to do good, and then you're going to, have whatever, overeat a day or skip a workout or something. It's okay. You know what? If you are hitting your goals at 80%, you are winning. Literally
Mm-hmm.
80% is winning. So that is what will keep you and all of us consistent, is if you allow that 20% room for error. You know what? Somebody's
Yeah.
gonna bring you donuts and you're gonna goddamn want that donut. Eat it. Just eat it and move on. And that was your 20% where you're like, you know what? I really wanted the donut that day. Moving on. So many of the times it's like if you eat the donut and then we're like, oh my God, I can never follow through. I'm a failure, blah, blah, blah. That's what stops you, not the donut.
Yes. The self-sabotage after you eat the donut, like sometimes you just want a donut, like eat it,
Okay,
move
I
on,
will
go on
go.
to the next thing, you don't have to beat yourself up. You don't have to take another, 50 minutes on the treadmill tonight. Like, just realize that honestly, if you show up and you are giving 80%, most people are going to be like, holy shit, look at her. Because most people don't even give 50%. So if you're giving 80, you're already like years ahead of everybody else. This has been such a fun conversation. I could sit and talk to you forever. You guys, if you're just listening to this, you got to watch it on YouTube because Samantha's energy is so incredible. Like, I'm so excited. We actually were connected in a roundabout way through Powerhouse Women. So I know there's so many people through that community of Lindsay's that listens to this podcast too. So thank you again, Lindsay, for the connection. There's such a beautiful thing with being around people that have great energy and being able to even pick up on that, even if you're just watching the conversation between the two of us and seeing the energy exchange that is there. You want to hit big goals and you want to do big things in your life. You have to surround yourself with people that have incredible energy. Because if you are around energy suckers, they are going to do just that, suck your soul away. So thank you for showing up the way that you do. And thank you so much for the energy that you've had with us today. This is so incredible. One last question I love to ask in closing to everybody that is a guest on my podcast. When I tell people I have a community that's called Ladies Kicking Ass, they're kind of like, tell me more, I think it's something that achieving women want to be recognized. Like, she's kicking ass at this and kicking ass at that. And sometimes we kick our own ass for trying to kick so much ass. So what I love to hear from people is their interpretation of what a lady kicking ass looks like or what it means to them. So what does that mean to you, Samantha?
I love this. First of all, I was definitely drawn to your title of your podcast and all you're about with the ladies kicking ass. Like, amen. Let's go. And to me, I think even when I saw that and like met you, when I hear that, I'm like, to me, ladies kicking ass is going for your big goals and dreams. Like, regardless of whatever the current circumstances are, I don't care if you have like no money, you feel like you're poor, if it's a financial thing, if it's a kids thing, you think you can't do anything because your kids, because your partner, your relationship, like if it's your business, if it's your health, whatever it is, like ladies kicking ass is like, you see all those things and you're like, and watch me. Like, these are still my goals. This is my dream life. I'm going for it. And I'm not saying you figure it out like that tomorrow, but it's like, you got dreams and goals and like you're freaking going after them and you're kicking it down one step at a time.
Yes. I love that so much. I had to write that down. And watch me, because if you really want to excel, and I think so many women are like, well, I put myself last because of my kids or my partner or my business or my this or my whatever. If you have that attitude, you'll always find an excuse to put yourself at the bottom of the list.
Yep.
Or you can have the attitude of what Samantha just said and watch me, because and I have a partner and I have a business and I have 5 kids and I have a couple of dogs and I have a house and I have this and I'm still choosing to show up for myself. So that is awesome.
Yes. So good. Ooh, I just like got goosebumps there too. Like, yes, let's go.
I'm like, we could start preaching about this shit. Like, that is something that is so absolutely, like, I want women to embrace that more than anything on earth. I went to one of Brendan Burchard's events in April. My husband took me to one, and Ed Milat was there speaking. And he was talking about this same situation, and he was talking about parents often say to their kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? You can be anything that you want to be. You can do anything that you want to do. And the ultimate way to inspire a child to do that is to be doing that yourself. Because if you tell them they can be anything that they want to be, or they can do anything that they want to do, and they see you struggling and sad and stressed out and a hot mess all the time because you're not chasing your goals because of all of this stuff, they're going to do the same thing. Because what they see is what they do. You can tell them all the shit in the world, they're going to mirror what you do. So it's one of the most beautiful things that has just stuck with me like crazy since then, is they're watching. And I have all these things. And I show up. And I'm doing this because you want to be the ripple. Like, be the ripple, change the stuff, show up in spite of all of the other things that you have to do. That is something you are obviously doing with the things that you are doing in your life, Samantha. And thank you so much for being such a great example for all of us.
Oh my gosh, you are so welcome, Tanya. You make me think. I want to say one last thing too, if we can.
Yes.
Just from that is like it's possible too. Like that, and it is so possible. Like if all you take from this whole call is you listen to the end and you hear, I know it may not totally feel, but if it's on your heart and head, so I always say, if it is on your heart and head, like I don't ever desire to be a WNBA basketball player. Like, okay, so I don't need to grow a whole 2 feet or I don't know, however like tall. Like I don't desire that. But there are things that are on my heart and head. My 100-mile races, my business, listening. If it's on your heart and head, it's there for a reason. And it's possible. Yeah. So listen to those nudges and take that first step. Just take that first step and just believe like it's possible. I ran 100 freaking miles. What the heck? That's crazy. Like if I can do that, you guys can do whatever it is that is on your heart and head.
Yes. And if you need motivation, just write that down. She ran 100 miles. So I can do this too. This is so awesome.
Yes,
Thank
amen.
you so much, Samantha. This has been incredible.
Oh, my pleasure, Tanya.
Thanks for being part of the Ladies Kickin' Ass community. Cheers to all you badass women out there. Keep rocking your power, igniting your fire, and making waves in the service industry. If you loved today's episode, please do me a quick favor. Take a screenshot, post it, and tag us at Ladies Kickin' Ass. Be sure to include the link to your favorite episode. Your support in spreading the word means the world to us as we aim to empower even more women. Hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for more kick-ass episodes. And don't forget, a 5-star review is the ultimate high five. Connect with us on social media. All the links are in the show notes. Thank you for being part of our tribe. Now go kick some serious ass, lady. Hey, ladies. Have you ever considered starting your own podcast? Or hell, maybe you already have one, but you're looking for someone awesome to collaborate with, or maybe get some mentorship or some questions answered as to how people are doing certain things on their podcasts? Well, I'd love to introduce you to my friend Joanne Bolt and her incredible new podcast, Her Network. Ladies Kickin' Ass is part of this network, and I would love to invite you to come on over, join the party. If you haven't started a podcast yet, great, we'll help you get started. If you have a podcast and you want to make it better, great, come join the party. If you're looking for guests, collaborations, just how-tos to do anything, or you just really want to be part of an awesome chick clique of women that are doing badass things, come over, join us at the podcast Her Network with my friend Joanne Bolt. Open up the show notes. There is a link in there to get any and all information that you might need about this incredible opportunity.